What is up, all you beautiful people? It is I, AkemiTCG, and our channel is getting invaded.
What's up?
Mike, and he has won with zombies at our locals recently. So how did you do it? How did you win with zombies? What was your secret?
A lot of luck and a lot of planning for our store's meta. And I will take you through step by step all of the beautiful cards and spicy techs that I did to make that happen.
All right, cool. Let's see the deck. So he's got main, extra, and side. Let's go through the main deck. Let's go.
All right, let's do it. First things first. You can never go wrong. 3 Unizombie. It's the best searcher, best starter card. I always want it in my opening hand, or, you know, its brother, the Shiranui Solitaire, but we'll get to that in a second. Unbricks the hand, throws Ballardrock into the graveyard. If I have it in an opener, it's a Foolish Burial. It's makes Helki Fibrax. It could do fun synchro shenanigans. And it's basically the best card in the deck, and you always want to see it.
Yep.
All right.
Of course.
Easy
It's
3.
Literally one of the best cards in the deck.
Next would be Shiranui Solitaire. Basically, it's 3 extra copies of Unizombie. Just search it every time, or if I already have Unizombie in hand, maybe use it to search Glow Up Bloom, because it's a tuner with 0 defense. And it's just, I don't use its second effect where you banish it for other various Shiranui stratagems, but still very cool. Nice to have more consistency. Another way to get to Unizombie, which, again, probably the best card in the deck.
Yeah, of course.
Next, now, it might not be the best card in the deck, or it might be, depending on your point of view, but it's definitely my favorite. And that is the level 8 King of all zombies, Doom King Ballardrock.
3 Ballardrock.
Yep, and I do it, I used to have it that way because of Called by the Grave. Being at 3, I hated getting both of them banished, so I'd always run 3 just to be safe. Now that it's at 1, I'm considering putting it down to 2, but for some reason I just never draw them in multiples. I never have trouble with bricks. Unizombie discards it if I have it in my hand, and it is the best boss monster you could ever ask for. In response to any zombie activating its effects, boom, negate that effect, or just banish any monster on the field or in the graveyard. Indiscriminately, non-targeting banishing. One of the best effects you could possibly ask for in a quick effect.
Yeah, especially for a card that's in a structure deck, really good.
Yeah, as soon as they reprint this bad boy, I'm getting whatever higher rarity copy they ever make of it. They really should make a
secret.
A secret or a prismatic or something like that with all of the structure deck's boss monsters. I'd buy that.
Oh, that'd be good.
Next is the best way to summon Ballardrock out of the deck, a Glow Up Bloom. It is a level 1 tuner. I've done 1-for-1 time for every once in a while to bring it out, but Foolish Burial, Unizombie's effect, Gozuki's effect also does it. You banish this from your graveyard, and then you get to special summon a level 7 or higher zombie from the deck, which is Doom King or another target in my deck that I'll show you soon. It gets it out onto the field, or if you don't have Zombie World, which sucks a little bit if that doesn't happen, you add it to your hand, which is still, you know, a little bit of advantage. It's never too bad. There are always ways to discard things in this deck. And this thing locks you into zombies, so maybe do it at the end of your combo if you're doing other spicy things.
Nice.
Next, one of the more valuable cards, my secret rare Mizuki's.
Nice.
And the secret rare version lets you revive 2 zombies from the graveyard, if you're convincing enough.
Oh, true. If it was in a different language, you might convince it.
Oh, man. Someday I'll try to pull that off. But no foreign language cards in this deck, unfortunately. Just a great extender. Sometimes I'll have them in my graveyard for several turns without realizing it. And then I'm like, oh man, I have a Mizuki effect to resolve. So just bring something out, start a combo all over again. It's fantastic. But it's never something that I want to draw. It's always something that I end up wanting to send to the graveyard. And there's weird situations where people do like barrier statues or other weird stun things, and you're only forced to normal summon things. And this could beat over stuff.
Right.
If you're in one of those weird
1700 beater. Perfect.
Yeah.
It gets right over Denko, by the way.
Over Denko Sekka, over Fossil Dyna. You know, you're never really going to run into a situation where you need to special summon out something that could beat over it.
Right.
And then one of the most underrated cards in the deck that I run it to, Necro World Banshee. You can banish this from the field or the graveyard as a quick effect to activate Zombie World directly from the deck. And the thing that people never remember is that it also protects your zombie world from being targeted or destroyed by card effects.
While it's on the field, or?
While it's on the field.
Oh, okay, okay.
So it's just a way to protect it from, getting Feather Dustered, Twin Twisters, that kind of thing. And if someone finds a way to get rid of it while Banshee's on the field, just banish it and get it back.
Yeah, right.
And you can't really ask for more. It's a great Foolish target, great Unizombie target, a great way to make sure you always have Zombie World on the field, because that is the most important thing that this deck needs to do in order to do all of its fun things.
Sure.
Next. This one, unfortunately, only have the one ulti in a common of Gozuki. And but it's still a great card. It's a slightly weaker version of Unizombie, but it's another normal summon that's essentially a Foolish Burial for the deck. And when it's sent to the graveyard as part of anything battle or being material for one of my many extra deck summons, you can banish another zombie other than itself to special a zombie from your hand, and that's another great way to get Ballardrock out of your hand if it's stuck there for some reason. Can't really ask for much better than that. It's not an ideal draw compared to Unizombie itself, but it's never bad. And then finally, one of the more interesting monsters in the deck, Jack Bolan. He's just a great body on board. 2200 defense. I could special one of my guys on my opponent's main phase, and it's any zombie from the graveyard, and not just my graveyard. If I have Zombie World on the field, it turns everything on the field and in both graveyards into a zombie, so I could technically special summon one of my opponent's monsters if I needed to.
It's pretty good.
You could discard Ballardrock out of your hand, or a Glow Up Bloom, or a Necro World Banshee, or a Gozuki, whatever you're feeling, whatever the situation calls for. Get a free body onto the field and get exactly what you need into the graveyard.
Nice. I like that card a lot. It's really good.
Yeah, it's really good. I find up myself that I'm drawing it too much when it's at a 2 or 3, because I have tried it in a couple of variations, but one just seems to work the best. I end up seeing it exactly when I need it.
Okay, perfect.
And then, one of the best zombie cards in existence, Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Can't really go wrong with it. Probably going to be bumping it up to 3, because it's never not a good card in any format, at least in my experience. And then the thing that I'm probably going to take out, my one Ghost Ogre, I had it at 2. I put 1 into the side and kept 1 in the main, but Ogre's just not doing it for me anymore.
Oh, not right now. I feel like just even playing the third Ash might be more beneficial.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're going to take out anything in this whole setup, take this out. It's the first thing that's gone in my mind, but once in a while, it'll get the job done. Plus, it's also a tuner, so if you need to go into a little synchro play or make Halky Fibrax or something, it's not terrible.
Right.
And then, just the Dragoon package, bricks, giant steaming bricks.
Brick City, but it looks cool.
It does. Cool. The fun little alt arts. I don't hate it. And, man, I wish I didn't have to play Dragoon, but...
Onto the spells.
Onto the spells. Now, the most important card in this entire strategy, bar none, Zombie World turns everything on the field and in the graveyard into zombies. If it's not on the field, you're going to lose.
Yeah, that sounds about right for this deck, but...
But there's a plethora of ways, probably 15 different ways, if my count is correct, to get this onto the field or keep it protected while it's on the field. And it's rarely run into a situation where I've either run out because my opponent keeps destroying them, or I'm not drawing them, or I don't have a way to get to it. And so it is fantastic. Doing this, changing the types of things, is something that people don't realize will mess with their decks, but it does. Salamangrates need Cybers. Infernobles need Warriors. Dragon Links need Dragons. But if you make everything zombies, they don't get to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can't really ask for much better. It is the most important part of the entire strategy, and everything hinges on the Zombini world. Next, one of, I think, hands down the most broken card in the entire deck is Super Poly. But you can't not play it. It breaks boards. It helps you get more damage out if you've already attacked and you have targets for it. You can't respond to it. That's just the best effect that anything could have, is you can't respond to it. And I have a plethora of extra deck targets, and it's almost always active because of this beautiful card right here, and I will show you why in a little bit.
Sure.
All right, get those out of the way. Next, 1 terraforming. It is immensely important to get Zombie World into your hand as soon as possible, so everyone loves terraforming. Red Eyes Fusion. Terrible brick, but you have to have it.
Yep. And when you draw into it, you kind of have to play it.
Exactly. It ruins your entire turn.
Yep.
Whether you play it or whether you don't. Called by the Grave, because Ash Blossom stops this entire deck. And if you're lucky to open it, or most strategies, or if you open it against Dino, get that Misk out of there. You know, there's ways to get around it. I hate it being used against me, but you also kind of have to use it too. It's just that powerful.
Yeah, it's at 1, so might as well just take advantage of it, right?
Exactly. Then main deck, Twin Twisters. Most people don't main deck spell and trap removal, but I've run into more situations where it's ruined my game ones than it's been an issue to not have them in the deck, and it's just always very convenient. If people think that they're just going to drop a mine on you and pass for 20 turns, it doesn't really pan out if you have a Twin Twister somewhere in your deck that you can just spring and then combo out and end the game.
Right.
Because most people have to pass when they get mine dropped on them, but not this guy.
Okay, sure.
And then Foolish Burial. Obviously, it's a go-to. There are so many Foolish Burial targets, you can't not play it. And you got to do the Lost Art version with the cross as the headstone.
Of course.
And then finally, Instant Fusion. There's a couple of great targets in the deck. It really protects my combos, make Millennium Eyes, do Mud Dragon to get levels for synchro plays. And it's never a bad card. I only ever want to open it, though, because drawing it anywhere but your opening hand is unfortunately kind of bricky.
Right.
But you know what? It's at 1. I'd play it at 3 if it were at 3, but we don't get to have fun things anymore because people ruin it.
That sounds about right.
And next, my trap lineup. This is probably some of the most fun cards I have in this deck.
Sure, let's do it.
First is Ice Dragon's Prison.
Card's really good. This period.
Yep, came out in Rise of the Duelist, and boy, does this thing make a huge difference. And because I change everything to zombie types on the field and in the graveyard, everything's a valid target. If your opponent has something on the field and in the graveyard, special the thing from their graveyard, banish the thing from the field and the thing you just took, and it just ruins their turn.
And the best part is, as I always tell people too, is like you can just attack for game with whatever you grab too. You can do it during battle phase, grab something, attack for game. GG.
Yeah.
That's it.
The only problem is that it's only once per turn, because hell, I'd use it all the time. But they really do need to balance it.
they have to balance this card. It's extremely good.
It's absolutely a blowout if I get it. If I'm able to set it on my first turn, I just do it at the right choke point for my opponent. And it's so effective. It basically is almost single-handedly responsible for winning me a couple of matches.
Oh yeah, it's really good.
Next, my best way to protect my cards, my beautiful back row, my zombie worlds, are Solemn Judgment.
Okay, sure.
Paying your half your life is no cost at all if it means keeping Zombie World on the field, which is absolutely critical to winning.
Okay, sure.
And people will always side things like Twin Twisters, Harpy's Feather Dusters, Cosmic Cyclones. This will just be a good general nope for all of it, and you can't not do it. And I want to get a higher rarity of these, but the supers are pretty good for now.
No, just get the ultis, it's fine.
But yeah, Solemn Judgment, boy, has that gotten me out of some jams. Stops people's plays before they start, and can't complain. But this is really what gets people to scoop every single time. Rivalry of Warlords. Each player can only control one type of monster and send all the rest to the graveyard.
So the thing is, if you have Zombie World up and they're not inherently playing zombies, they lose.
Exactly. Because once you summon something, it becomes a zombie, and unless you have a zombie in your hand or in your extra deck, you can't play anything.
Correct.
And because you cannot attempt to summon legally in the game something that's not a zombie. So you can't really ask for much better, and it doesn't impede my plays at all. Because 95% of my deck and extra deck are zombies.
Right.
I think Ghost Ogre is the only one that isn't in my main deck, and then I have a couple of extra deck things that aren't.
All right,
but it is a win card. It absolutely blows people out unless they happen to open some kind of spell trap removal, but Solemn Judgment, again, great for protecting that noise. All right, next, side deck?
No, extra deck.
Extra deck, all right. Extra deck, you can't really go wrong. Good old Linkaribo, it gets Glow of Bloom off the board, really the only reason that's in there, but it's not bad for protection. Kind of keeps plays going a little bit. Gets it into the graveyard so you could use its effect. And then, my favorite link to, Vampire Sucker. This thing has a boatload of utility. One, you can res a monster from your opponent's graveyard. It becomes a zombie if you don't already have Zombie World on the field. And anytime a zombie is revived from the graveyard once per turn from either player's graveyard, you get to draw a card. So it helps me maintain a little bit of advantage because it does go a little bit hand heavy when you go with the combos. I end up with nothing in my hand. And so it's never a bad thing to keep drawing cards. And one of the things that people always forget is that you can tribute your opponent's monsters as if they were your own, as long as they're zombies and it's for a zombie monster.
Correct.
So it's another great way to get Ballardrock out of the hand. Tribute my opponent's monsters and bam, normal summon the big boy the old-fashioned way.
There we go.
All right, next, another classic link too. You kind of have to play Verte. Not
for the
just
Dragoon package.
Yeah,
and
not just for Red Eyes, but Instant Fusion you could also do Super Poly, Red Eyes Fusion. Really no reason not to. It's fantastic. Also turns other things to dark. Not a problem. Helk, I don't care for it that much, but if you get impermed in the middle of your combo, it's great for extending. Brings Glow Up Bloom out of the deck.
Sure.
It could also bring Unizombie out of the deck if you have a way of protecting it because it's a level 3. And so, yeah, I mean, once it's gone, I'm not really going to be that broken up about it because eventually it will be gone.
I don't think it will, honestly.
You don't think so?
No, 100% sure not. Because they banned every tuner because of this card.
Well,
I can't see it being gone unless Linkross is stupid, but that...
Yeah.
And now Linkross is gone, I think it can't be gone. There's no way.
I mean, whether it is or isn't, I don't see it staying in the deck forever. It's just not super impactful when I don't have a ton of tuners.
Right.
And especially tuners that lock me into zombies. And then Boral Sword Dragon, he's really easy to make mid-game. It cleans up things, gets 6k damage on the board. I can respond to other things, or you can't respond to its effect to switch things into defense mode and attack again.
Sure.
It's just a nice little blowout. It doesn't really come up that often, but when it does, it does. Now, my favorite Super Poly target, Drago Necro Nether Soul Dragon, makes it with 2 zombies, so you could Super Poly basically your opponent's problem monsters when Zombie World's on the field, because they become zombies. And then, bam! They think that they made themselves safe by not having 2 darks, and how sorely mistaken they are. This ruins people's days, because few people remember that this exists. I sort of get it, but it makes it happy for me. Next, Starving Venom. Of course, anything with 2 darks, I usually try to make it over Nether Soul because it's just a slightly better card. But, you know, it doesn't come up as much because people are kind of wise to playing around leaving 2 darks on the board. And then, of course, Dragoon. I mean, what are you going to do? It's an OP card. And then Mud Dragon of the Swamp, another great Super Poly target. You could do it with Instant Fusion if you need the levels for a Synchro. And then, yeah, it's not bad. Gets me out of some tight situations. I've been VFD'd and then was able to drop a Mud Dragon on them.
Sure.
You know, it solves a lot more problems than it causes. Millenniumize. If I open my Instant Fusion, I'm always making this. It protects my monsters from being hand trapped because, as I said earlier, 1 Ash Blossom stops this entire thing. And that stops it. So thank you to Millenniumize that is now only a couple of bucks, where it used to be far more expensive. One of the things I'm probably going to take out are my Elder Entity Natis, just to combat the Dogmatica Maximus.
Sure.
Just send it to the graveyard when they send theirs, and like their Titaniclad or something like that, pop stuff on their board. And if they already are running like Invoked and have a Mechaba on the field, they can only negate one of them, and not the second. And so it's a nice way to kind of clear that up, but I wouldn't hate getting rid of them because people are playing Dogmatica less and less now. And then finally, one of the weirdest but most fun to make game-winning cards, Red Eye Zombie Necro Dragon. I want to add some more synchros in here, but this is probably the most impactful one. Gains 100 for every zombie on the field and in the graveyard, including itself. And when Zombie World's up, I can get this thing over 4,000, 4,500. And when a zombie destroys a monster in battle, I get to special summon a zombie from either player's graveyard and right to the field and then just keep swinging.
Sure.
and it interrupts a lot of things. It is fantastic, ends games. Hard to really complain. He's a fun little guy. Came right out of the structure deck, but boy is he strong. All right.
Onto the sideboard. Let's see it.
Let's see it. Here, we'll start with the most impactful card, the most blowout card you could ever ask for, and that is Eradicator Epidemic Virus. Just tribute Ballardrock, who's going to come back on the next turn anyway, call spells or traps, destroy all of them, and the ones they draw for the next 3 turns. It's great to get that hand insight. It's great to just completely blow out a really sad Sky Striker player or anything like that. And most people rely on spells, not so much traps, but Altergeist. Oh boy, do they not like this card either.
Right.
And then just completely destroys games when it needs to come out. It's an easy 3 of. I'd play it at 6 if I had the chance. And then Red Reboot, just pretty common protection, nothing wrong with it.
Sure.
I'd probably, even if it was at a higher number than 1, I'd probably only keep it at 1. And then Anti-Spell Fragrance says no to Pendulum players and any other various heavy spell-themed deck. And while it doesn't really affect me that much because I can still use Necro Banshee's effect to resolve Zombie World from the deck directly.
Sure.
And then more spell removal, because this is a big problem for the deck otherwise, because it really is only heavy about negating monster effects and interrupting you in the middle of those. So Cosmic Cyclone, the rest of the Twin Twisters, you saw the other one in the main deck.
Yep.
And really always comes in handy in the side, because you never really know what you're going to run into on any given day. And then one of my spiciest techs, Xyz Encore.
Yep, for the VFD and the Zeus.
For Zeus, for Utopic Zexal, any of the Zodiacs, VFD, and they can't respond to it, and it changes the levels of the monsters that comes out, so they can't make the same thing again.
Yeah.
It's just fantastic. Shotgun it on your draw phase when your opponent has a VFD, and they don't get to play. Shotgun it on Utopic Zexal, and then their board's completely open.
Correct.
Because the Numeron gates were never properly Xyz summoned, so they can't be brought back from the graveyard. It's really fantastic. And then finally, the last spell, Harpy's Feather Duster. It's just completely a fantastic blowout. You can't not play it. It's a little bit in rough condition, kind of bent down the middle. I've had it for a long time. But you know what? It's finally getting to dust off the cobwebs, so to speak. And then a couple of key monster removals. We have Gamma Seal, the last Ghost Ogre that I mentioned earlier, and then Sphere Mode. Boy, are these two fun. I want to get this out of there. Don't really know what to replace it with quite yet. Probably going to go the Droll Lockbird direction. But just a matter of seeing what else I can tweak in here. It is a very heavy control strategy all the way around. But these are good for going second. Even though I always, definitely with this kind of trap lineup, you gotta want to go first. But it won't be terrible game 2 when they, when your opponent decides to make you go second.
Nice, dude. Awesome. It's actually pretty sick that you're keeping zombies alive. Do you have any, final words for anybody here, either on the channel or you want to give a shout out to someone?
Let's see. I want to give a shout out to Mel Prosser, who helps me play test and does all of the hard work helping me find good value on all of these cards.
Sure.
And then she is my motivation. She's the best person I know, and I love her. And respect the zombies, man, because Doom King will mess with you.
All right, thank you so much. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one.
The world ends now.